Alright, let's talk about something that gets your attention. Imagine you're out in the middle of nowhere, maybe the Siberian plains. The sky is huge, empty and cold. Then, out of the blue, you see it. A shape that doesn't belong. It's not a bird, and it moves with a kind of predatory grace that makes the hair on your arms stand up. It looks like it was ripped from a science fiction movie, all sharp angles and a flat, menacing profile. This isn't Hollywood though. This is the real deal. This is the Sukhoi Su-57, a machine that Russia has been working on for a long time. It's their answer to a very complicated question. How do you stay on top in a world where the rules of air combat are changing faster than ever? This jet, codenamed Felon by NATO, is more than just another airplane. It represents a massive leap for Russia's aerospace industry. For years the world watched and waited, hearing whispers and seeing grainy photos. Was it real? Could they actually pull it off? Then it started showing up at air shows, performing maneuvers that seemed to defy physics. Twisting, turning, and practically stopping mid-air before rocketing off again. It's a statement piece, a declaration that Russia is still very much in the game of building world-class military hardware. It's the kind of project that takes decades of work, countless engineers, and a whole lot of national pride to get off the ground. So, what makes the Su-57 so special? Let's get under the skin of this thing. At its heart, it's a fifth-generation fighter. That means a few key ingredients. First, stealth. Designed to be hard to see on radar, not invisible, not comic book stuff. Rather, it reduces your signature. Looks like a small bird on the screen, or just a bit of noise. A big shift from older jets that shouted their presence from miles away. Next, speed. Built to go fast without afterburners. This is super cruise, like running a marathon at a sprinter's pace. Most jets burn huge fuel to break the sound barrier. The Su-57 can cruise supersonic for long stretches. But it's not just speed and stealth, it's smart. Cockpit packed with advanced avionics. Big glass screens show everything the pilot needs. Finally, maneuverability. Russian jets are famous for aerial acrobatics. The Su-57 raises the bar, it has thrust vectoring nozzles. That agility gives a serious edge in a close-quarters dogfight. Let's dig a little deeper into this stealth business. When you look at an older fighter jet, you see a lot of curves, antennas, and things sticking out. Every one of those things is like a billboard for enemy radar, bouncing signals right back to the source. The designers of the Su-57 had to rethink the entire shape of the aircraft. They used flat, angled surfaces to deflect radar waves away, instead of reflecting them back. You'll notice they're all aligned along a few specific angles. Edges of the wings, the tail, the air intakes. This is all done on purpose to scatter the radar energy and make the jet's return signature as small as possible. The work doesn't stop with the shape though. The skin of the aircraft is coated with special radar-absorbent materials. Think of it like the foam you see in a recording studio, but for radar waves instead of sound. This paint-like coating soaks up the radar energy. Now let's talk about those engines. To achieve that supercruise capability we mentioned, you need some serious power. The Su-57 is powered by two massive engines that are a marvel of engineering. The plan has always been to fit it with a brand new, next-generation engine called the Izdeliye 30. A fighter jet is only as good as the tools it carries. The Su-57 comes with a whole toolbox full of nasty surprises. Because it's designed for a multi-role mission, it must handle anything thrown at it. Its primary job is air superiority, clearing the skies of enemy aircraft. For this, it carries a variety of air-to-air missiles. These are stored inside its internal bays to keep the jet stealthy. Infographic internal weapons bays showing different missiles and bombs the Su-57 can carry. When it's time to engage, the bay doors snap open, the missile is pushed out, and it rockets toward its target, sometimes from over 100 miles away. But the Su-57 isn't just a dogfighter, it's also built to be a striker. It can sneak past enemy air defenses, deliver precision-guided bombs, or launch air-to-surface missiles at ground targets. One major feature is its advanced radar system. It doesn't just have one radar in the nose, it has multiple radar arrays across the airframe, including in the wings and in the rear of the aircraft. That gives the pilot a 360-degree view. The system can track dozens of targets at once. And it's not just what it can do alone. The loyal wingman concept is where air combat is heading, and the Su-57 is being built to be central to that networked future. So, to understand why the Su-57 is so important, you really have to look at the big picture. For decades, during the Cold War, there was this fierce rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union to build the best fighter jets. Then, in the 1990s, the US unveiled the F-22 Raptor, the world's first fifth-generation stealth fighter. It was a wake-up call. The Raptor was just so advanced that it could dominate the skies against anything else flying. For Russia, this created a serious capability gap. Their fleet of excellent but older fourth-generation jets, like the Su-27 MiG-29, was suddenly at a disadvantage. So the Su-57 program, which started under the name PAK-FA, was really born out of necessity. It was Russia's answer to the F-22. It was a way to make sure they wouldn't be left behind in the race for air supremacy. A country's air force is honestly one of its most powerful tools for projecting power and defending its sovereignty. Without a credible, modern fighter to lead the way, Russia's military planners knew they'd be operating from a position of weakness. The Su-57 was designed to close that gap and give Russia a seat back at the top table of military aviation. The jet also serves as a powerful symbol of Russia's technological and industrial revival. So, the inevitable question comes up. How does the Su-57 stack up against the competition? Specifically America's F-22 Raptor F-35 Lightning II? Trying to get a straight answer is tough. A lot of the details are classified. These planes have never met in actual combat. But we can look at their designs and what they were built to do. The F-22 Raptor is the king of air-to-air combat. Designed to be the most dominant dogfighter in the sky. Widely considered to have the best all-aspect stealth, incredibly difficult to detect from any angle. The Su-57 seems to follow a slightly different philosophy. While a capable air-to-air fighter, speed supermaneuverability, powerful sensor suite. Some analysts think the F-22 may be stealthier head-on. The Su-57 might have an edge in close-in visual range fights. Then you have the F-35 Lightning II. A different beast altogether, jack of all trades, stealthy multi-role for the Air Force's biggest strength. Advanced sensors often called a quarterback in the sky. Both are valid, different views on modern warfare. No big ambitious project ever goes perfectly smoothly, and the story of the Su-57 is no exception. Building a fifth-generation fighter from scratch is one of the most difficult engineering challenges a country can undertake. One of the biggest challenges has been the development of the new Izdelia 30 engines. These engines are critical to the jet's performance. Getting them to work reliably has taken far longer than anyone anticipated. Delays in the engine program have had a ripple effect across the entire project. There have also been issues with the production and cost. These are incredibly expensive machines to build. Initially, Russia had planned to buy hundreds of them. Over the years, those numbers have been revised downwards. This has led to a slow rollout of the aircraft to frontline squadrons. The program also suffered a very public setback in December 2019. The very first production model Su-57 crashed during a factory test flight in the far east of Russia. The pilot ejected safely. Losing the first production jet before delivery was a major blow to prestige. Behind every great machine, there are people, thousands of them. Engineers, technicians, test pilots, all pouring their lives into a project that might not see the light of day for decades. The story of the Su-57 is their story. It began in the late 1990s, a time of great uncertainty for Russia. The country's legendary design bureaus like Sukhoi were struggling, but a small group of designers kept the dream of a next-generation fighter alive. They were working with limited budgets, using old computers, but they had a vision for what Russia's future air force would need. One of the most fascinating things about the Su-57 is how it blends brand new ideas with proven concepts. The designers knew they couldn't just copy the American approach to stealth. They had to find their own way, balancing stealth with the traditional Russian emphasis on speed and extreme maneuverability. The first flight of the Su-57, back then known as the T-50, happened on January 29, 2010. The man at the controls was Sergei Bogdan, a legendary Sukhoi test pilot. It was a flawless first flight, a huge moment of validation for the thousands of people who had worked on the project for over a decade. Every flight, every test, every deployment adds another chapter to the story of this machine.